Move.
Yeah. All right. Here we go again. All right, welcome back to. Oh shoot, I'm tripping. Let me go ahead and do my thing real quick. All right. So you already know. Yes, sir. All right, so here we are. We back in the building with a special guest today. We here with my boy Jashua once again. He was on my episode. What are we gonna talk about earlier this season? And I just figured that it would be good to bring you back, just because I feel like, as one of my closest friends and is basically my best friend, I feel like we always have some very interesting conversations. Plus, I don't know, like, as we're gonna get into, of course, you one of those friends that we kind of talk about anything and everything under the sun.
Yeah.
But you also, like we were talking about earlier, we actually check each other.
Yeah.
And I don't think we really run into problems like that. I feel like as a healthy friendship, you should be able to, but not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it would just be interesting if we just chopped it up.
Sound like a move.
And of course, as you always have questions, feel free to ask some questions when they come to your head.
Oh, I would.
But yeah, so I guess we should go ahead and start basically at kind of like how we became friends. Because I feel like we haven't talked about that.
Well, I can tell you, like, my memory of how it all came to be, okay?
Yeah.
So, 10th grade at Walnut.
Right.
9th grade, let me go back just a tad bit. 9th grade at Walnut, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I was not really them motherfuckers. I ain't gonna lie, I really wasn't.
Okay.
Because, I came from an outer city school, and I don't know what it was about that school. Y'all was a bunch of I'm just gonna be real. I've never experienced that, and I'm little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So them not trying to fight, be on Twitter talking shit. I never experienced none of that. You know what I mean? When we had issues, you just swung it out.
Yeah.
So I'm in this school thinking everybody's sissies and whatnot. So I'm not talking to nobody. And I make a couple friends, but I didn't hang out with them during the summer or nothing. I didn't really want to be cool with nobody.
Right.
So 10th grade came, and I finally got one person's number at the school. That was Rick. So me and Rick became cool, and then I met Javier, Michael Allen. But I told them I always told them I'm gonna call you that.
Okay.
If you tell me that stupid ass is your name and you know that's not your name, and you say that's my name, bro. I said, okay, well I'm gonna call you that for the rest
You're
of
gonna
your
make
life.
the editing for this episode real interesting. Golly.
My fault.
You good? Go ahead, bro.
I forgot. But anyway. Yeah, so I met him, and somehow, some way, we went down to the lunchroom, and I seen him again. I introduced him to Rick, and then I don't know how you came around, but a couple of days later, I started seeing you pop around. And then my biggest memory from seeing you before we started getting cool was y'all was all rapping. I think it was you, Rick, and Javier rapping.
Was this after school? I feel like it was after school.
After school. We was in the arcade. We was on the outside part of the arcade.
Like actually outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right over the football field. You remember that?
Really?
Yeah. That's my
that makes sense.
Earliest memory of seeing you.
I remember that day.
Actually remembering you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then we fast forward. Shit happened through 10th grade.
Of course.
And 11th grade happened, and we ended up having the same class in math. And we was both apparently stupid with algebra, so we got stuck a little bit behind. Because the Wanda people was ahead of us. Because the way our school was set up before them, they had...
It wasn't algebra. We was in geometry, bruh.
No, that was algebra 2.
Was it?
Yeah.
Here you go. Yes, that's what it was, bruh. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't gonna say that. But yes, we were in the same class.
I'm being silly.
Nah, I know what you mean.
I don't really
we was
think
in the same.
was dumb for real.
Yeah, we was in that same class,
so
bro.
Yeah, bro, and we was salty because we came there that day and we thought about it like, dang, hold up, we about to have lunch with all these kids because we were supposed to. That was right when we were supposed to be grown down there in our head.
Me,
so
you, and Chase.
Yep, Chase too.
Terrible.
And we were all in the front. All three of us right in the front. I used to be sleeping that.
Did we pick the front? I think knowing me, I usually do pick the front.
I think me and you was sitting together, and you was like, "Bro, I'm sitting in the front." I looked at you like, "I ain't gonna." Oh, I remember that. It's crazy when you said that to me, bro. I got salty a little bit because I do not like sitting.
No, because that makes sense now. Because it's like I think typically I sit in the front, but now I'm wishing we sat in the back,
bro.
But it's like we wouldn't have focused if we did. Like if it would have been me, you, and Chase, we would have got split up anyway. So I was like, and I think knowing me, I was probably thinking like, nah, man, we need to be leaders. You know what I mean? Because like it was just us, and it was some sophomores, and did we have a freshman in our class?
We had like one or two, if I'm not mistaken.
And like even in that, it's like, dang, if we in the back of the class, I'd have felt really weird. So that's probably why I naturally wanted to sit in the front. But then it was like, in hindsight, that was rough because, oh my gosh, we just be in the front struggling. Bruh. Whether you was sleepy or Chase was sleepy, like somebody, because we was, oh my gosh, that was rough. I was just gonna say, I remember one of the first times I ever saw you. Of course, you were with your girlfriend at the time, and I remember thinking that y'all were always like a really cool couple. And then I just remember always seeing you like that. And but I would like see you in passing, but it was like you were always like that one black dude I knew that was really cool, that had a girlfriend. Y'all seemed real cool, real chill, out the way. I was like, you know what, I aspire to be like that. Like I respect it. And from what I can remember, you was always like, you always had a smooth fit on. So I always remembered you like that. Then I think we got cool toward the end of that year, but I can't remember how or why we ended up getting as cool sophomore year, because that was my first year at Walnut, period. Correct. So like you had already been there, and I think other people had already been there, of course, but I think we got cool at the end of that year. And then junior year, like you said, we got in that class, we got locked in. We got locked in.
Senior year, we went through the trenches. Nerf wars. Yes, sir. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, them white boys robbed us. If I remember y'all faces, I'm gonna cuss y'all out. Y'all robbed us of that win.
Bruh.
Man, that white boy took his pants off so fast, bro. I was so sick.
I do not want to revisit that memory. No. Bruh.
You gotta get some context. I did just say that white boy just pulled his pants off.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So the way that I'm not gonna expose you, so the way that Nerf wars work, cause basically we had immunity if you took your clothes off. So you had a lot of wild people running around, and the white people was a lot more wild than the black people was. So they was way more willing to take their clothes off. So we couldn't beat the white boys because every single time we got to them, they just dang, dude, like
just talking about this in hindsight,
it's crazy, ain't
it? Really wild, bro. Really wild. Because I remember, like, it's so weird. We was playing, so the seniors, we was essentially like, playing for high stakes. There was something to be gained. Yeah. Right? So we was playing this game, and everybody had to put something in for their team. Yep. And I remember, you always think like, oh, what if we won? But then for us to get so close to winning was crazy. And then just to think about everything that we had to do in that game. I remember my senior year was actually smooth. Senior year was smooth for the most part. And I remember when we started that, bro,
that was the most
I got
stressful.
So stressed because I feel like you always have to keep your head on a swivel. Because I remember we would pull up to people at, dang, this sound crazy, bro. Like saying this out loud, we would have to pull up on people to, try to eliminate them from the game. And because we was pulling up on people at it sounds crazy saying this, but to pull up on them at their cribs, because that's how the game really went. You had to always think about somebody coming to your crib. So I remember that used to always have me stressed. I remember I would take my Nerf gun to track meets. Man, I would take it. Like I had a huge one. I remember I had a huge one.
By the time the end of it came, we started getting them yellow balls.
Like that mess was so annoying. And then like you'd have to shoot them and then go get them. We really was going out and buying these things.
Cause you was losing bullets at the same time. Cause you can't grab every bullet.
Yeah, bruh. And I just remember that was such a crazy time. But that's like where we got locked in at. Yeah. Cause we did go through them trenches junior year and senior year. Yeah. But I think I guess the junior year, because we always had that one class. Yeah. And we always had lunch. Like we always had lunch. True. And I think I could tell at the beginning of senior year we was gonna get locked in, because I think that was the first time I maybe spent the night at your crib, or something. I think I stayed the night. I think so. And I think we went to a senior something or whatever.
Senior dinner dance?
Nah, at the beginning of senior year it was like a cookout. It was a something. It was supposed to be like a senior picnic. I don't know, but we was doing that. Yeah. And then I just remember you was basically like, because I didn't have a car in high school, you was always my ride essentially. So that's when we got locked in. That was when we got locked in. And it's just funny because like I wanted to talk about how even though like we locked in. But what I think is so funny about our relationship, I think it's funny, but I appreciate it. and I think if you have a good friend, hopefully you can do this. I remember when I was in college, there was times where I think we wouldn't talk for like 2 or 3 months. And then when we talked, we was good. Like we was locked in. I was never tripping on that. I feel like I never tripped on that. And I know some people can't experience that in their friendships. I know some girls can't experience that within their female friendships. Maybe that's different because we men, whatever. But I just remember that was something I always appreciated. Yeah. And then just like I was saying, like when we talk, we disagree. Like even though we tight, when we disagree, it's funny because like we'll debate it, but then it's like, well, I'm still over here and you're still over there. So I mean, no matter what,
it's be what it is.
Yeah, and I just think that's like really funny because all that history, and then just what our relationship is. I'm just saying I appreciate it. I genuinely appreciate it.
I do too.
Because like I thought this episode would just be interesting because like I was telling you, I feel like you kind of ground me. Like when I talk to you, I feel like you're not gonna just tell me what I want to hear. Nope. And I don't really look for that, but you usually like it's not hard to tell. You're gonna just say how you feel, whether it's like, what do you think of me rapping, or what do you think of me doing this or this or that. If you don't like it, you gonna say like, that was trash. Like, and to me that's funny, but I appreciate it because I know it's like I'm gonna get some true feedback from you. So if you do like something, I'm like, okay, I really did something. So yeah, I just always appreciated that from you.
For sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no problem, bro. So yeah, like I feel like we just gonna chop it up. So like, what's some of the questions that you be having for me? Like, what was it that you wanted to ask me earlier? Like, am I happy with do you think younger me would be happy? What was that question? Yeah.
Do you think that younger you will be happy with older you right now?
What was I gonna say? Do I think younger me would be happy with me right now?
Yeah.
Yes, because I graduated from college.
Okay.
I don't have no kids. I feel like that's always been on my mind since I was a teenager. Because my dad had my older sister when he was a teenager. My mama had me when she was 21. I'm 23, degree, no kids. So I'm good in those areas, and I've kind of neglected my dreams in the past, but I feel like now that I have better ideas of some things that I want to do, or I'm just reclaiming those things I wanted to do, I'm kind of pursuing them now. And I think it's like I didn't just neglect the things that I've always loved. I've either still doing the thing I loved or found a way back to it, or I found another thing I loved and I'm actually really doing something with it. So I do think I would be proud of myself. I'll maybe be a little disappointed because I remember I always thought I was going to be famous when I was young. I remember when I was like, I kid you not.
You know, I can see that, bro.
Yeah, like when I was like 10, bro, I was like, I used to really think by the time I'm 16, I'm going to be famous. I really used to think that. I think I did a time capsule in middle school.
Wow.
And I could have swore I wrote something like, yeah, like I swear I wrote something where I said, yeah, we'll be famous when we're looking back at this. And that has fallen flat, but it's like, because I think what I used to think about being famous, I don't necessarily want that the same anymore, because there's a lot that comes with being famous. I would like to, there's nothing wrong with being recognized and well known, but you know, when you famous, people are always in your business. It's like if I got some money, maybe not everybody know me, and that's probably more of a position that you would want to be in. So yeah. So I'm gonna flip that back to you. Do you think your younger self would be happy with who you are right now?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. No, like I was just talking to when bro was over here the other day, and he was doing what we just did today. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. He was talking to me. He was like, man, like, you just not like I thought you was gonna be when you got older. Okay. And when I think about that, I feel the same exact way. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was probably the most straight-laced kid you would ever meet. I was probably, bro, I think, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, I probably was more straight-laced than you were. Like, just being realistic, the only thing I did that you didn't do was cuss.
When I met you, I did kind of have that impression. I was like, he seems like a very that was like I think that was the impression I got. And just as I started to get to know you more, I was like, oh, he's different. Or maybe just as you continue to evolve and change.
It's because I've evolved and changed. Like, yeah, bro. I was really like, there's no.
Yeah.
I used to literally fight people for smoking weed, my friends.
Mm.
Like, for real, no, like,
Wow.
no, like, real life, really, they used to be scared to do that shit around me. Like, real life, I swear to God, ask anybody. For real. It was bad. I almost beat up David for it. Like, I'm so serious.
Wow, dude.
I'm so serious.
That's crazy.
So, like, looking at the person that I was, I probably wouldn't be able to see what I see now. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, are you happy about that?
Yes,
like,
very much.
Like, you feel like you're more open minded, or like?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And not only do I think I'm more open minded, I think that I see the world for what it is. I don't think that I saw the world for what it was exactly, and it was. This one girl in middle school, she's telling me this. She's telling me all the time. She was bad as hell too. Baddest girl in that school. She's always telling me this. You live in La La Land. And when she would say it to me, like, I kind of got what she was. I thought she was saying kind of like anime and stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really felt like she understood who I was a little bit. The type of person that I was, I didn't see the world for what it really was right in my face. And it was because of how I grew up. So because of how I grew up and because it was so in a 3D box, you know. I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
You're good, bro. Just go ahead, bro. Just go ahead, bro.
Because it was in a 3D box, like, the moment that I got out of it, honestly, and I was talking to my mom about this too, matter of fact. Walnut Hills, she told me she actually wished that she never took me to that school.
Why?
Because I became a different person. Like, I genuinely became a different person going to that school. I mean, I was a rough guy. You know, I had a big problem with fighting when I was from like elementary school to middle school. I have a totally different personality from what you guys saw. And the reason why I wasn't able to do that is because the way that my mama told me Walnut Hills was. You know, it's a school where you have to be excellent, all this type of stuff. And she basically told me, you can't mess this up.
Okay.
So what I did was I pretty much undermined myself, and I didn't realize it until like junior year that I wasn't exactly being myself, and I was trying to not necessarily not being myself, but I wasn't being my full self. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And I would only show spurts of it. That's why, like, when you would see me blow up at random times during the school, that was a normal thing in middle school. That was normal. Like,
oh wow.
Ask any of my friends, that was normal. I just wasn't a person that you played with. I was always like that. I'm not making jokes. I'm being serious. And so when I got to high school, I wasn't like that. And when I realized it, another time was in college. When I was in college, I realized, like, dang, bruh, I've gone soft. It would be times where people would say stuff to me, and I just let it be cool. That used to not be me.
So okay, so like you would just like pounce. Like if they said something crazy, you was on.
I ain't gonna lie, it was on it. It was on it cracking, like real life.
So you think you went backwards?
Yeah.
You think you went backwards?
I think I undermined myself. So just being real.
Okay. I don't okay.
What you think?
I can see how you would say you undermined yourself, but I'm thinking more so like you had that development that you should, because I don't think if anytime somebody say something crazy to you, you just like jump on them, right? You kind of gave them that power, and their words have power over you. Words have power. I understand that, but it's like you can kind of pick your battles. You don't have to fight every single time.
For sure.
Like if someone always said something that offended you and you was always fighting, you might as well not go outside, right? But that's not I don't think that's a healthy way to live. Plus, it's like, I think as you continue to develop as a person, you should kind of be able to have control over your emotions and your reactions. I feel like if you were still reacting the same, that would be problematic for you. And then I would be looking at you crazy. It's like, all right, I understand that you might not like what they said, but you don't always have to throw hands, because then you always going to put yourself in a certain position. Some people were like, I know some people might think that's a disrespect thing. It's like, you can't just let them disrespect you. No, I'm not saying to just let people disrespect you, but you don't have to just always come to blows, because if it always come to blows, you are always more likely to be more in trouble anyway. Who wants that? Nobody. What we look like? Target. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? So it's like, nah, bruh, that's not where it needs to be. So you saying you went backwards in that way, I feel like you went forward. as far as your thinking. You already said that you become more open-minded. So you're probably able to think about why they maybe said that and why you might not even need to sweat it. Because sometimes people are going to say things because they hurt and they want to hurt you. So it's like you're going to stoop down to their level and meet them there. Where's the progress in that? Yeah, as hard as it is, as hard as that is, it's like.
It's crazy. I don't know if it's hard. And that's the weird thing about the way that I think my personality works. I don't think that that's hard to do.
Talking to the mic. Go ahead.
I don't think that that's necessarily hard to do. Like the way that my personality works, I think that it's pretty easy for me to separate myself from the way situations are. Is honestly, I kind of enjoy doing that.
Doing what?
Fighting.
Okay.
That's just how I am. You know, I've been in martial arts my whole life.
Right.
6.
Okay.
6 years old. 24 now. You know what I mean? That's a very long time to be doing something. And for me, that was my fun. That was my practice. That was my life for a very long time. So to me, that's just what I did. So to me, it wasn't a bad thing. To me, fighting was a good thing. That's how I've understood a lot more people from coming to blows with them than I have from talking with them. If I'm being honest with you, the people that I've come to blows with, I understand them at way deeper levels, and that's even including yourself.
Explain that, because we ain't never
exactly.
We almost came to blows.
Yeah,
we almost came to blows once.
And again, peep the timing, peep the time that I was in.
Right, because
remember I just said that literally around that time, that was me trying to undermine myself. Honestly, if that had been 4 years ago, we would have fought right then and there. The moment you said that, we would have fought. And I wouldn't have cared. It would have been cool. Like, I mean, let me go back. Bruh, like, it just came over here. A lot of my friends, I fought almost every single one of my friends except the ones that I've met in high school.
Okay.
I can count on my fingers how many friends I haven't fought. You, Brick, we used to be friends. D'Artagnan.
Okay.
And that's it.
And okay, because I mean, to me, it's like it's never worth that. It's never worth that. Like the reason when we was gonna come to blows, that was in my eyes me protecting you from yourself and what you was about to do. I was like, you know what? No, we're not doing that. Just bring that energy this way. We'll handle it. It's gonna get handled. What we might be mad, upset,
I respected
or whatever.
That though. So
right. When
you did that. That allowed, like being at the place that I was, that allowed me to see that you were actually trying to do that.
Right.
And I do. So when you did say the growth part, I did agree. I do agree with that. I do think that there was some growth there. So I agreed with you, and that's why I stopped. I don't think I ever actually said that to you before.
No, I mean, I believe that's why, because you did stop. But I was, in my head, I was really thinking like, damn, we really about to bang.
No,
like,
once you said it,
so stupid.
It made sense. I was like, damn, that just made sense. I can't really, you know what I mean? What I'm about to do, look like a dumbass after he just said that out of his mouth. Like, come on now. Yeah, so I guess I did become more rational. But yeah, bro, ask some of my old peoples if you ever see him, like, how was he? You're going to be surprised at the stuff that you hear. Like my middle school reputation, anybody that went to Northwest High School, I'm known for breaking a kid's nose. That's the only thing I'm known for doing. And I was in 6th grade when I did it.
Oh my gosh.
It's just how it was, man.
Yeah, because I feel like, again, man, I think the fact that you don't really have to react like that or don't react like that, I think that's a step forward. Because if you always throwing hands, bro, like, it's just, you're like a walking problem. And
it is.
I'm like, who does that help? Who does that help? That puts fear in others, sure. But it's like, who's going to want to be on your side? People going to be scared of you in the first place. You know what I mean? Which was funny because, like I said, again, when I thought we was going to come to blows, of course, everybody wants to believe they're going to win. Yeah. But in that instant, I was like, this might be slim. I already knew.
The martial arts.
Because I had never been in a fight. And I was already thinking, like, this man doing martial arts. We outside. Like, I don't know what this dude be on.
I ain't gonna lie, brother. I would never let you in. I wouldn't even. That's another thing. Me thinking the way that I am now, I wouldn't want that to happen in front of people like that.
Right. But
you see what I'm trying to say?
But I was still like, I don't know how this about to go.
Trust me, I know how you feel.
That, like, one alternative was better than the other. So I was thinking, you know what?
Forget it.
Because I was like, because in my head, I was thinking, if you don't see I'm trying to be your friend in this moment, then that's going to let me know we just might not need to be friends. That's why I was like, all right, this is like a real test of our friendship. And I feel like ever since then, we didn't really go through that. Because, I mean, like I was saying earlier, we went through something recently where it was like, I think you was feeling like I wasn't like seeing you, or I wasn't like supporting some stuff that you was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember I got nervous because I was thinking, dang, we don't really have rifts like this.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, are we about to stop being friends? But then I was like, hold up. No way. If we stop being friends over this, it's going to make me think, were we even friends?
Right.
So when we just discussed and we talked about what was going on or how we both saw the situation,
right,
and then we came to understanding, I was thinking, okay, that is what I would expect of us. I was like, that makes sense to me. Because if we actually stop being friends, I'm like, bro, that was real childish. Like that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So I was just happy that we was able to do that.
For sure.
But because it doesn't happen that often, I was nervous about it. I was thinking, dang. Because we so chill across the board. Like I said, there'll be times where we might not talk for a minute, but when we do come back to talk,
it's all good.
It's all like, we chopping it up, we all good, we all straight. So for something like that to happen, I was thinking, it was just, I was uncomfortable, but I was slightly excited because I was like, we're about to
test this.
It's about to get tested.
Yeah.
And hopefully this like takes us to another level deeper, because it's like, all right, that was a test for us. It was a test.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Pass the test. Now I know that we can actually go through some stuff together, because some people fickle, man.
For sure.
And that's just like, I don't want no fickle friends. So
one thing I think I could say about myself is that's not me.
I'm
one of them people that's probably gonna stick it out with you a lot longer than other people will. Mm-hmm. Most of my friends that I've known them since I was like 4. Mm-hmm. My oldest friend, I met him when I was like 3.
Right.
And we still friends to this day. We cool, you know what I mean? I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
My cousins is still my cousins. You know how my cousins are. My cousins dang near my friends.
Right.
So yeah, bro, I'm really family oriented. To me, if you become my friend, you're really family. So even if I say what I talk a lot of stuff when I be mad, but even if I say anything crazy, I don't really feel like that. We gonna be cool.
Speaking of like the whole family thing.
Yeah.
I remember we was at that Freaknik event last year. And you lost your phone, bro. I was like, okay.
That was another time that you seen me about to change it to the old.
But that's when I just knew, because I know you. I'm like, dang, if this party gets shut down, we might be the reason why. Yeah. And I was so salty for that, because I was like,
because you knew that I did not care.
Like I knew that, but I hate, like, whenever you out and somebody on some BS and a function gets shut down, you hate when that happens, because it's like, come on, you couldn't have handled it a different way, or you couldn't have gone this way or this way. But in that instant, I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be us. Like we are gonna be the reason, because I wasn't about to let you go find your phone alone. Plus, you didn't have your phone, so it's like, how was you gonna find it?
Man.
So you couldn't find it alone. And plus, I was thinking, whoever we about to walk up on probably is not by themselves.
Man.
So I'm like, and it was just me and you. I'm thinking, well, if he swing,
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna have to follow up.
If I would have heard that vibrate, because I was listening to people's pockets to see if that thing was. If I would have heard one vibrate, I ain't gonna lie, I would have socked on somebody, bro.
Man, that's why I was nervous. I'm thinking, dang, bro, we might be the reason why it turns into a brawl in this piece. And I did not want that. I really did not want that. I really didn't. I was thinking, bro, because I'm more on the peaceful side.
Of course.
I'm more on the peaceful side. Like, if I really try not to ever go there.
Of course.
Because I've never had to.
Right.
And I feel like I've never blacked out. I feel like in an instant like that, I might.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous about that. I don't want that. But I was thinking, dang, it's for my dog. I mean, I can't let him do this by himself.
For sure.
And I can't just let nobody try and jump you or do you wrong. So I was thinking, all right, here we go. So I'm glad we found your phone. We found his phone. But that was gonna be ugly.
I ain't gonna lie, I was really mad.
I know.
I don't think, have you ever even seen me that? I think I was more mad than I was that one day in February during the senior dinner dance. I think I was more mad than that.
You did a good job of not showing that thing, because we was just walking around, like, you was like cussing and everything, but I feel like I didn't hear you yelling or nothing. So I was thinking you was fuming, hoping that we gonna find the phone, but you weren't like just yelling at everybody, because I was gonna have to be like, Jashua, this ain't
not the
way. Yeah, I was gonna be like, this is not the way. So I feel like you compose yourself, bro. This is growth, bro. You composed yourself, and we found your phone, because that could have gone sideways, And I was nervous because I'm like, I'm going to have to defend him. Like, I'm going to have to rock with him and be with him in this. But because I was going to do whatever we had to, but I was definitely going to chew you out after that. I'm like, all right, so we could have handled that better. Like, yes, we just had this backyard brawl,
this
but
motherfucker tried to steal my phone. I ain't gonna lie. If somebody try to steal your phone, I'm gonna swing on him before you swing on him. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
I'm just saying, it's like, bro, because to me, I'm always thinking about the repercussions. And usually the action don't outweigh that. It's like, bro, that repercussions are gonna catch up, and they're probably not gonna be great. And just knowing how stuff like that goes at functions, man, it just don't end well, unfortunately. And I was like, we are gonna be like at the front seat of whatever happens. And I was thinking, bro, I don't want to be that, but I got to do it for my dog.
It's very interesting hearing you say that. Like, it makes me think about our core peoples. You know what I mean? Like, your core people is more of a peacemaker, and I don't really feel like I'm necessarily like that. And I think that's very interesting. I don't think I'm like that. I think that's so interesting that you said that.
That is interesting.
Because to me, when you just said that stuff happens in functions, to me, I've been in so many functions where I've been in the middle of stuff that it don't really bother me.
Nah.
You know what I mean? And then when you just said how you never blacked out before, like hearing you say that, I don't even know if I can count my fingers how many times I'm blacked out in my life. Just because I wonder why that happens. Don't you think that's weird? I mean, we grew up in two totally different areas. I pretty much grew up in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That place is basically country, right down the street. And you grew up in the inner city, yet you have such an ideology, and I have such a different one.
Wow.
Don't you think that's an interesting thing to think about?
It is, and that is probably where our
disagreements come.
No. Okay, you could say that, but I was gonna say, as far as our backgrounds, it's like whatever we grew up with is probably how we see that. Like I'm always referencing how like my parents' relationship was, knowing it could be horrible, it could be terrible and all that, but it's not. So because of that, it's always made me think, I don't even have a child with this person or nothing like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't have nothing super deep with this person. Excuse the police in the background. But it's like, I don't have something. Pigs. Yeah, I don't have nothing super deep with this person. So why am I even super invested in that? So, and I think because of that, it always makes it easier for me to kind of look at it from a different perspective and not feel like it has to go there. Because usually, again, if it does go there, I feel like at that point, I let you get me out of character and you kind of won my emotions that I own. It's like, I don't need to let nobody have control over that but me. Right. And for me to even go to that level, there are a few things that are worth it to me. If I'm protecting somebody, especially a girl, that's when I'm there. Like, I'll go there. That's no problem. Or if I got to protect you, like, I can go there, but I also know that you're capable. So it's like we are more so fighting together. Whereas if I feel like I have to protect somebody else, that's when I'm gonna go there. But other than that, I'm just pretty level headed. That's why it's funny when people think like, oh, I'm mad. It's like, trust me, I'm not mad. When I'm mad, I'm gonna actually probably remove myself because I know after that it's not gonna go well. Like that's me though.
I got two things. Okay. So my pops, like, I'm thinking about the way that I grew up as well. Trying to just give you like a yin yang type thing, I guess you would say. So the way my pops like raised me, and he, like I said, he don't really say much, but the things that he did say, don't lose no fight, bruh. You don't. If somebody does something to you, you get them. You know, my mama told me the same thing. She said, if somebody does something to you, do it. That was the whole reason why I actually was in martial arts. Okay. When I was real young, I got bullied real bad at elementary school, about like 5 years old. And my parents found out about it. The moment they found out, they put me right in there. And my dad said, you don't let this happen no more. After that, I wasn't able to not be like that, you know? So now the challenge is, now you got this beast that's about to start growing. How are you going to maintain it and be the warrior in the flower garden? And that was like a challenge. So then now my second thing is that I think that there's a difference between people that fight for what you're talking about, and people that feel like fighting is a way of life. Okay. And not a lot of people talk about this thing, but the reason, that's why I was just saying how I don't really think of fighting as a negative thing. Because again, like I'm saying, there's only so much that you can understand about a person through the other intelligences, right? There's considered to be 9 intelligences, right? One of those is what? Bodily intelligence.
Okay.
A good example of that is dancers. A good example of that is sports people. But another good example of that is what? Martial artists. A martial artist, in fact, I think dancers and martial arts are 2 like polarizing examples. Like they're 2 sides of the same coin type stuff.
Okay.
So when you get a martial artist, to me, there's a type of intelligence that comes with that. So I can learn a lot about how you think just by how you fight because I've been doing it for so long. I swear to God.
That's deep. Okay.
So when you take it to that level, like, okay,
you know what that sound like?
What?
Anime. Low key.
Okay.
Low key.
That's a good thing. Okay, I can add to that. So fighting games, right? You know I love fighting games.
Yes, you do.
And they have a very high skill floor and skill ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that it's very hard to get into them. It's very hard to get really good at them.
Right.
That makes sense? Okay.
Yes.
So I think they're a really good allegory for life.
I can see that.
The reason why I feel like they're a good allegory for life is because a lot of people hate it. A lot of people like watching it. A lot of people like seeing it, but can't everybody do it? And the reason why is because of simple excuses like going through the motions, which are like motion inputs. It's also mechanics as far as locations, as far as being in the right place at the right time. And then understanding the way the game works, the mechanics. So understanding how the world works itself. I feel like those 3 things are really things that people get really confused on. And so when you apply this, okay, practice mode. I was just in practice mode earlier in Third Strike Street Fighter when we was playing with my boo-boo character Hugo, right? I was just in there, and when you think about it, to me, why am I practicing, right? To sharpen my swords. Do people do that on a regular day basis? How often do people practice their actual craft that they want to be good at? Not really often, right? So how could you expect to be good at it? And then not only that, fighting games take a very long time to get good at. I've been playing Tekken since I was 5 years old. My dad put me on the King, the character, at 5. He beat me up so long, he made me want to use the character, right? So I didn't get good with that character, being like completely honest with you, until I was 22 years old. How old am I now?
24. Okay.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like life takes a long time to figure out, but you can't stop practicing it. The moment you stop practicing is when you get behind. And fighting games work the same way. That makes sense?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Wow. And I so hearing you say it, I completely understand that. I just know that is not in my background as far as growing up.
Of course.
So to me, whenever it comes to that, I'm like, this is like, that's a last resort to me. It's like, I do not want to go there just because I'm trying not to, and I don't feel it necessary. So if I do, it's like, to me, it's going to be really bad. I feel like everything I don't do is going to come out then, right? And I'm like, that's going to be pretty bad. Like almost any instance I'm trying to protect somebody, that's when I feel like the lower levels of me want to rage up. Basically, it's like, all right, if I got to protect her, I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure that it's done, period, right? But that's going to take me somewhere I don't go often, and I don't want to go there because then I'm like, because I'm not there often, I don't know how I'm going to come back from it, how I'm going to come down, what that whole thing looks like. So it's just hard for me, and I try not to go there, because I've always had more of a negative connotation about it, which is interesting now we talking about this, because I don't think we've actually ever talked about this.
Never talked about it before.
And we're completely opposite on that. We're
Very
completely opposite
so.
on that.
Very much
But
so.
like I said, the one time where I deem it necessary is like if I need to protect somebody.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm going to make sure that they're good. Me, I'm secure. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Unless you actually come try me, I don't really see the need. You can say whatever you want. Like when, guys get called certain words and whatnot, I'm like, yeah, that's annoying, but
words don't really.
I'm not about to actually come over there and try and do something to you, because then you're gonna think anytime you say that it works, right? Like,
when I was a kid though. that.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I would maybe think that, but then that's because other people would instigate. They would say, "You gonna let her call you that? You gonna let her call you that?" It's like, dang, are you really my friend? Like that's you really trying to get me into that because of that. That's kind of trivial. I don't need any of that energy. So when it's just me, I'm fine. But as soon as it's somebody else, that's when I'm actually okay with going there, because it's like, all right, my reason, the justification and my reasoning for this will be because I want to make sure they were okay. If they're okay, I did what I had to do. That's the reason why I did it, period. But if it's for me, I'm like, you're not even worth it to me. That's how I see that.
I see what you're saying.
So, wow. We see that completely different.
Totally.
But I think because I love anime as well, I can see how, like, when people learn each other through like fighting, that's an interaction that is an interaction in itself, and it is a form of communication,
right?
Which I understand. But wow, that's a form I don't partake in often.
Yeah, man.
At all.
It's not a common form that most people partake in, anyways.
Wow.
You got to think. We're talking about something that requires a certain amount of bodily intelligence in the first place.
Yeah.
So most people wouldn't even understand that concept. You know what I mean? Most people wouldn't even think about that concept.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ever seen a martial artist smile at each other like that when one dodges a hit and the other one dodges a hit and they look at each other like that? They're talking to each other without y'all knowing that they're talking to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, granted, it might be a little bit more showy, but that happens all the time.
Right.
It happens all the time. I mean, I could think about a fight that I've had out there. There's a guy that's an African. He does like this African capoeira type martial art out there. And we were talking, and he doesn't really understand English too well. But as I'm speaking to him, he was about to kick at me, and he was doing a turn kick. And I said, "You about to turn kick me?" He ignored me. I said, "You're going this way." And he stopped right in his tracks and looked at me and said, "How the fuck did you know that?" The type of conversation that you like, you know, he didn't say it out loud though, because nobody else heard us having that conversation. We were looking at each other talking like that. I just did this, and he knew exactly the way I was telling him he was going everything just from that. It's a weird thing, bro, but when you have that type of intelligence with that, and that's why I think that y'all should look up the 9 types of intelligence. It's very interesting. But if you look at that type of stuff, it actually has very interesting applications. I mean, another one is like, you ever heard I know this is kind of like a stereotype, right? But you ever heard the whole women can't drive versus men type thing? Well, studies used to show, I don't know if they show it quite anymore, so don't quote me necessarily, but they used to show that men had more spatial intelligence than women did.
Okay.
Meaning that, like, okay, throwing stuff, all those type of things, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Better understanding of the space around you. Like how a lot of guys can say, "Oh, this is a foot by a half," and you know how that type of thing,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, and a lot of studies would say that men have that over women, and that's a good example of why that's the case.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's necessarily true, because correlation doesn't equal causation, but you know. Go ahead.
Wow. Nah, man, I'm just taking all this in. It's like, bro, because I've always thought it was interesting. Like we're similar. Like we are similar.
Yeah.
But I think we are actually probably more different than we are similar.
Yeah. It takes a while to realize that, though.
I'm like, yeah, I think we're way more different than we are. Because, I mean, that's why I think I look forward to our conversations. Because when we disagree, I'm like, I'm about to learn about you right now. And I see you as somebody I learned from as well. So it's like, I'm going to learn something about you, and I'm probably about to learn something from you. Because I feel like we've had enough conversations to where we like kind of bat heads. Because I know, I think you one of those people where I don't feel weird when I say, nah, bro, I don't agree. Like, period. Like, that's just it.
I know what you mean.
I think that's just because we have that. Whereas other people, not saying other people, I feel like I might not have that same space in that way.
There's levels to friendship.
Like I feel like we've gone through that a few times. Like I think once we literally almost came to blows, I was thinking, that's my dog. Like that was weird. But I was thinking I would literally fight you for you. Show me like, bruh, you are my friend, bruh. I'm gonna protect you from yourself. Yeah. Like some people would just let you do whatever you was gonna do, or just let people like mess themselves up. I'm like, if you gotta go through me so you don't mess yourself up, all right, let's do it then.
And the fact that you were willing to do that, I saw that.
Yeah.
And you gotta think like I don't like I just told you I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I deal with is feeling like, okay, is this person my friend or is he not? Or is this really not females much? I don't really believe that you can be like friends with females all like that. We already talked about that though. Me. That's me.
Right.
I've never had any experience with that. You tell me if I'm wrong, but y'all know. You tell me.
Right.
But anyways.
Go ahead. Oh, because I was just gonna say, like, dang it, what was you saying? I just lost the thought, low key. It was basically about, bro, what were you just saying? I completely lost it, low key. It's basically just like,
I don't remember.
We have these differences, but, dude, I cannot think, bro. Like,
brain fart.
Yeah, it's like
we was having a conversation about our ideologies and how they're different, how we are a lot more different than we are alike. We almost came to blows, and you said, "That's my dog for real."
That's
you was talking about how you can't be really comfortable with people if you can't really argue with them. Well, I was thinking that in my head as you were saying what you said.
I think I just knew like in that like around that time that we have gone through worse. So we could probably make it work through anything else.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like I haven't really been through that with any of my other friends. That was one of those moments where I was like uncomfortable and confused because I was thinking it felt like a scene in a movie, low key. Like,
you know, I hear that a lot.
Yeah, like a scene in a movie or a scene in anime where it's like friends fighting each other.
Yeah.
Friends fight, like, unless it's martial arts or something like that, friends fight together, not each other. Right. But in that instant, I was thinking, I don't know if anybody else is actually going to be your friend right now and try to keep you from this.
Right.
And it's like, it sounded like the situation, it wasn't great. But we don't have to go into detail of what it was. But it's like, just in that situation, I was like, bro, I feel like everybody around you was trying to instigate. And that was making me mad.
You think so?
Like, yes.
I don't even remember who was all around.
Because I remember, again, somebody, like, I was chilling. Somebody came and pulled me and was like, hey, you need to go get your boy. I'm like, hold up, wait. Why can't somebody else stop? Not saying I wouldn't stop it, but it's like, so you telling me you got to pull me from all the way over here because nobody else wanted to stop it?
They didn't like me, though.
But, right. So it's like, again, so these people don't like you.
Nah,
and then they're going to let you do this. Everybody's instigating. Yeah. I'm the only one that is like, this is not good. I have to get you, like, I had to, like, to me, that was my job at that point. I was like, I have to stop this because it looks like nobody else will, and let me save you from yourself because I don't, like, you my bro. I don't want you to mess yourself up and get yourself in trouble because people were trying to egg you on, and maybe that's where I might have helped you in that process a little bit because you said that's how you deal with stuff, and I was like, that's not how I deal with stuff, and I feel like there's an alternative. You have choices. To make a choice, like to choose to not make a choice is a choice as well, right? So I'm like, in that instant, I'm gonna help you out because it's looking like you can't think right now. Nope. That's why I don't like going. That's really why I don't like going there. Yeah. When I can't think, I get upset. I'm like, bro, I can't figure it out. I need to be on top of my game and always able to figure it out.
It's crazy that you say that because that's the difference. I don't really care that much, but that was with a female. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't hit a female. Right. That's why I was so mad.
Right. And that's why I was like, you're just going to have to direct that in.
So now I'm saying, like, think about it. Flip the situation. If that was with a dude, I wouldn't have got nearly as mad.
I can see that.
We would have just fought.
You just going to handle it.
We're just going to have to do what we got to do, bro. It is what it is. Yeah. So when you think about it, like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it was because the fact that it was a female, and I know. Ask her yourself.
She was trying to get you out of pocket.
She will never ever be able to tell nobody that I've ever done nothing to her. She's tried to hit me. Yeah. At a lot of times, and I don't even be sure. It's cool, you know what I mean. That's what they do, but I've never hit her a day in her life. Right. You know what I mean. I've restrained her at the most. Yeah. So I'm a very calm person with that, and being that I'm a martial artist, I know how to do that. Right. But to me, the fact that she knew me as much as much as she was supposed to, and all that type of stuff, and you were trying to put me there, is what made it even worse too. Because it's like, you know that I have anger issues, and you're taking me to somewhere that if any man were to do this, they're gonna get kicked in their face.
Yeah, that's why, and I think just knowing all of that, because again, that was junior year. And I think I had
senior year, cuz
that was senior year. That's my fault. So that was senior year, and I think knowing what like all the background, I was like, nope. I might have to come get him because it was not gonna be pretty.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, and you doing that, like, there's another, and even though me and bruh not cool to this day, I always would thank Rick for this. I was going through something with her too, and I was crying. I was just crying, bruh, just crying. And you know, I don't. You've probably seen me cry like once or twice, maybe once or twice,
maybe, probably.
But when I cried around him, man, I started crying, bruh. I just sat down on the steps because I was worried about that situation. Yeah. And bruh just sat there next to me the whole time. We had the bell rang. He didn't give a f. He just sat there with me the whole time, bruh. He didn't say a word to me. Just sat with me. Yeah. And I had never experienced that before. Like, in all of my friend groups, I can honestly say that I don't really experience stuff like that for real. Because usually, I'm the person that's doing that. Usually, I'm the rock.
Right. So like when somebody when a strong person that's always helping somebody else needs somebody who's like who's gonna be there. Right. I get that.
And so like, you know, it's weird. A lot of times that the hardest stuff that happens in my life is when I don't have friends around me.
Right. And that's probably why like I'm always like willing to talk, because I know that again, since we are very different, which is like becoming more and more present in my brain now. It's like because I know we are very different, I do think it makes it that much more important to me that we are friends, because I feel like usually I'm the one coming to you for perspective, because I do see you as older than you are. So that's probably why.
I appreciate it.
But I've always felt like, you know, you had my back. Like, sure. I know you would have my back, period. Because I'm like, if I had to fight with somebody, like I would pick you for sure.
Please
I'm
do.
like, we gonna throw it down.
Please do.
I also know if I need to talk to somebody and really get some true feedback,
please do.
I can ask you in that same sentence.
I agree.
I know some like it's just hard to come by, and it's important when you do have it, especially as men, because we don't really cry that often to each other. I don't think. But
I've only seen you cry like once.
Really?
I think one time.
Maybe.
I feel like it was once. I don't think you cry any other time other than that.
But I think if anything, we just make it, even though we don't do it, I don't think it would be weird if we did.
Nah, I wouldn't treat you no different.
Yeah, it's like
I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
It's not that like not about what happened, but about the crying itself. I don't think if you were less of a man for crying.
Yeah.
If anything, I think if you was more of a man, because you shouldn't be trying to suck it up like a little bitch. Yeah. To me, you trying to suck it up when you do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why is you trying to suck that up? Just let it out, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
But I just always thought that was important, because it's like I think, like, even now it might feel weird saying it, but I remember when we would like talk to each other and we would like end a call and we would like say I love you. It's just like, I think you were one of those first guy friends I would like do that with, just because again, as you were saying, that when you need to, like, when you always the strong one, when you don't have that, like, where is that, or how do you know who you can actually be like that with and have those moments with? Because some people be like, like, bro, that's gay, you know what I mean? And I changed my perspective on that, because I realized for a long time I wouldn't tell my dad that. Like, I would only say that to women, period.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not even a hyper masculine man.
I don't think so.
I just remember there was a time where I would only say that to the women in my life, and I was like, nah, if I lost my dad today, I'm gonna be salty I didn't tell him I love him. So that's why I tell him. Like, I tell my uncles, and so now it's like, because I want to help my own family and my friends that are guys. It's like, bro, if I love you, bro, I'm gonna tell you, because if I lost you, I'm gonna be hurt. I'd be hurt. So it's like, I think it's important for you to know that, because we don't always have that. Like, I'm a man, so I know what that's like. So then when you do hear from your fellow homies, it's like, as much as we hang out, because you, like, even when guys don't say it, you just can tell. It's like, as much as they hang out around each other, because you know how girls be like, you love your homies more than the girls. It's like, bro, they are men. Like, they understand what they go through, because they are a man, bro. Like, they know what that's like, and they might try to act like they don't want to say it, but if they lost their homie today, they're gonna be hurt. It's gonna hurt. So that's why it's like I make sure I say it, and I just think it's important to say it. And I just, again, like, talking to you is easy and it's like fun because you always got something random to tell me, bro. Like, like something random about something every trip. You're like, did you know that this is this? I'm like, Jashua, bro. What have you been doing, bro? Like, why do you know that? Why do you know that? But that's why I think that's part of the reason why I see you as older than you are. Because I'm like, bro, you like a dictionary, a thesaurus? Like, you just telling me all this stuff. How do you know this? But it also shows me that you kind of actively seek some of that out. Some of it you might just know, but other parts of it might
very
be
perceptive.
Very like inquisitive and curious about things. So it's like, okay, that's the kind of friend I want. Because when we can have that talk, we could talk about anime, girls, whatever. But I also know if I had to throw down with you, I could. It's so many areas I know this friendship is versatile in.
Right.
That's where it's like I don't really have to question you because I think when we do have those times away, it's like, bruh, I ain't talked to him. Cause I think the longest we would do that was in college. We would. Yeah. I think when we was in college, bruh, that'd be the longest. But I think I just knew, like, bro, when I get home, you gonna be probably one of the first people I hit up every time. So it didn't really trip me out. Right. If anything, we was gonna have more to talk about. It's like, bro, what happened during your semester? Bro, this girl was tripping. Or, bro, my football team was terrible or whatever. It's like, bro, just all those different things. So
for sure,
I appreciated it. And that's why I just want to say thank you for coming back as a guest. Cause, bro, like, as one of the people closest to me, I see you as very important to me. Cause it's like, again, we are very different, bro. I'm like, dang. Maybe I've always subconsciously knew that, but that's one of those things I appreciate. Because, again, you don't just kind of say, you're not just a yes man. You always going to give me some feedback and be like, I think you could have did better. Or I think you are doing some stupid stuff right now. And at least, even if I decide to not follow your advice or whatever.
Right.
I heard you. I heard you, and you said what you felt, and that's really all I'm coming for. It's like, all right, what do you really think? And you'll say it, and it's my choice to decide what I'm gonna do from there. So yeah, I just thought it was important that we had this talk, man. Or because again, that's like the highlight reel, right? But I also like to highlight the people that's close to me as well, because it's like y'all are a part, like you're a part of the reason why I'm probably how I am. You know what I mean? Because if I wouldn't have met you, I'd be a little different, right? It's like you that friend that I can go to and we can have a disagreement, and I look forward to them sometimes because, again, I'm going to learn something, and I'm probably about to learn some more of you.
This man will literally laugh when I say something that...
You be dead serious.
I'll be dead serious, and he'll start getting weak because he know we about to have a disagreement for the next 15 minutes.
Yep. Because I think it was something you said earlier. I was like, here we go. Yep. Here we go. I already, it's about to open up Pandora's box, bro. I just know.
I'm glad that you appreciate that, though, because that's another thing. You know, when I was young, I don't think that was something that a lot of people would appreciate in me. And I accept it, though. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? It's okay. But, you know, a lot of people didn't like that I was very inquisitive, and I would say, oh, did you know this? Did you know this?
Yeah.
I don't even think she likes that all that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to... That was what I was talking about earlier. You have to accept the people that like the things about you that everybody else doesn't. You know what I mean? Because those are rare things.
Yeah.
You know, my dad doesn't even like me doing that, but my mama loves it. You know, so I cherish that about my mom, and I can talk to her about those things, and she'll listen. You know, so I guess those type of things, those little things are what makes people feel like they're more friends with other people. You know what I mean? The stuff that you like to be, that you know can be annoying about yourself, and people still choose to listen to it or something, or you know it can be a hard pill to swallow and people still accept it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for doing that, because again, I know that I'm a very hard pill to swallow. Even though that I'm a dependable person, is all you saying, all that stuff that you're saying, I get that. Yeah. I'm still a dick. It's the truth. Like, I'm
that's another thing, bro. You just be saying stuff I can't really predict what you about to say, bro. I'm not about to.
It always comes out of left field.
I was like, you were saying that, and then you go there. I was like, okay, bro.
I don't know what it is, bro. It's one of them things where you gotta catch me in my rants, bro. I kind of rant, so you gotta like catch what I'm trying to say in the rant. I'm sorry.
You're good.
That's why I'm a bad person for podcasts. I talk
that makes
so
it funny.
places.
That makes it funny to me.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but I just want to say, bruh, I love you, bruh.
Love you too.
And I just want to say thank you again for being a guest again on the highlight reel. I'm pretty sure we'll have more to come in the future and everything.
Yeah.
But just want to say appreciate you. You already know. You already know. And thank you for tuning into this episode of the highlight reel. I hope that you were able to take something away from it. I hope that you were able to learn something. Or, hopefully it can help you move forward in life. You can do something with it. But yeah, that's a wrap. It's been your episode. Peace out.